Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm your presenter Mervin Matthew. Thank you for joining us. In the headlines, a new compactor truck for the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation means expanded services for the island. PETRO CARIB sponsors free contestants in this year's Miss Dominica pageant, and the Roseau City Council joins other agencies to embark on the campaign to keep the city clean. Join us for details of these and other stories right after the break.
Dominica is blessed with an abundance of water, but getting it to your home is an expensive venture. You have a responsibility to conserve water, to use it wisely. Remember the old adage, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. Think water, think life.
Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. The Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation has announced the expansion of its services to include the collection of pre-sorted waste for recycling. The program is being rolled out thanks to a generous donation from the government of Japan, a 12 cubic yard compactor truck worth US $72,000. Bristol Lawrence is the general manager of that corporation.
This program come about as a result of a grant from the Embassy of Japan in Trinidad and Tobago geared towards the collection of recyclable waste on the island. The corporation is trying to enhance its strategy of reduce, reuse, recycle, the Free Air campaign, and what this truck would do is help us into collecting the separate recyclable waste. So we'll be asking the residents in certain areas of the country to start separating the waste, and we're going to have different days for collection of that waste. The whole objective is to get that recyclable waste out of the waste stream where we can further separate them and they can form part of the processing and recycling, as our aim is to reduce the amount of waste that goes to the landfill.
A public relations officer of the Solid Waste Corporation, Gino Jacob, in opening the press conference on Wednesday, said this new initiative perfectly complements Dominica's clean and green policy. When this new service commences on February 10, residents of the Atlantic coast will be required to place general refuse in black or colored bags on regular garbage collection days and clear or white bags for recycled items on recycle collection days. Recyclable materials include paper or cardboard, plastic or plastic film, glass and metal. Collections Fleet Manager Florian Mitchell gave details of the new arrangement.
We at the corporation, as is mandated by the law, is the sole entity responsible for waste management, household that is, and we felt it necessary in keeping with the mission statement of Solid Waste Management Corporation. So recycling is the way forward, and the areas that we designated to start that initiative, as Mr. Jacob highlighted, this would cover the Atlantic side of the island. This covers about a quarter of the country's population, about 17,000 residents. We have the present system in that community is that we would have a garbage truck probably in Pennville twice a month. Under the new initiative, we would see a garbage truck in those areas on a weekly basis. What we're seeking to do is the first day, let's say on a Thursday, for example in Pennville, that truck would go, then they would pick up general waste. The next Thursday, we'd have another vehicle picking up or collecting or recycled material.
The zones chosen to pilot the pre-sorted waste initiative are as follows.
Some of the communities, Pennville, Vekas, Tibo, those are zones. Whatever I call, it's a zone. Pennville, Vekas, Tibo. Pennville, Vekas, Tibo. Yeah, that's one zone. Paybush, Benz, Anzime, that's another. Dodan, Teplat, all those areas included. That's another area. Then you have Calibishi, Woodfordale, Wesley. It's another zone. CARIB territory, Cassibros, Bells. It's another zone. Laplin, Casgary, Britica, Point Millac, all those communities within that enclave. Grand Fond, Sylvania, Mont John, Mont Ratchet, Sultan, Sylvania, Riviere Civic, that's another zone. And
the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Helen Roye, after thanking the government of Japan for the donation, which makes the new initiative possible, also thanked the staff of the corporation for the dedication to the necessary task of waste disposal. Roye's remarks indicated that this new service means a lot to the Ministry of Health since it complements its work.
It is the corporation's plan to improve the collection of recyclable waste, including tins, plastics, and bottles, which serves as breeding grounds for mosquitoes. And we know also that reducing the amount of waste we produce is the best way to help our environment, hence the valuable importance of this truck.
The Permanent Secretary told the nation that an additional truck will be sought from the government of Dominica to facilitate the expansion of the pre-solid waste program.
We also anticipate further assistance in obtaining another truck from the government of Dominica, which will augment the work already in progress.
By pre-sorting waste, consumers will be aiding the corporation's work to reduce waste at the landfill as well as to promote recycling, two of the R's in the Reduce, Reuse, Recycle campaign. At the landfill, waste is sorted into categories like PET plastics, like soda and water bottles are shredded, and metals are exported overseas for reuse. The corporation will be making transparent bags and bins available for sale at the village council in the respective communities. This system's efficiency in the east, northeast, and southeast communities will serve as a model for the rest of the island when the recyclables truck fleet is expanded. Currently, the administration of the Dominica Solid Waste Corporation is working on grouping the rest of the island into zones in preparation for the inevitable expansion of the new program. Members of the Royal Canadian Legion, Canada's largest veteran and community support organization, paid a special visit to Dominica on Thursday. Tanya Green has more in this report.
75 members of the Royal Canadian Legion arrived in Dominica aboard the MV Celebrity Equinox on Thursday. The main purpose of their visit was to pay homage to those who lost their lives during the First World War. They converged at the cenotaph in Roseau for a special wreath-laying ceremony. The ceremony was attended by Minister for Social Services, Community Development and Gender Affairs, Honourable Gloria Shillingford, family members of veterans, and other specially invited guests. The guest of honour at Thursday's ceremony, however, was Mr. Simbert Angol, the only surviving Dominican veteran of the First World War. Angol, who is now blind, was carefully escorted to a comfortable seat. He was given a veteran's cap and an official pin. Shelfo Paquet, the president of the Dominica Legion, the son of the late veteran, was on hand to welcome the members of the Royal Canadian Legion to the Nature Island.
We have been hearing about you all, and we are happy that you all was able to find time to visit us in Dominica. We are a small group of veterans, probably around 3 of us. 3 people, veterans, are alive. And we have maybe 20 widows. But the men have gone already and the women are there.
First Vice President of the Royal Canadian Legion, Tom Eagles, who led the team, laid a wreath at the foot of the cenotaph. For him, it was a great honor.
Anytime we're able to go anywhere in the world to honor our veterans who wore the uniform is very special to us. And I know it's very special to the people on this island for us to be able to stop here the same way we did yesterday in the Barbados. We are going to pay a special tribute to the veterans here this morning with the laying of the wreath. It's very special to me, as I said before, to be able to have a Second World War veteran with us. That's very, very special.
The visit of the members of the Royal Canadian Legion to Dominica is part of a 10-night Caribbean cruise. The Royal Canadian Legion is a member of the Royal Commonwealth Ex-Service League, which supports veterans and ex-service members in present and former Commonwealth countries.
Right now we're hosting 76 veterans from the Royal Canadian Legion, and we're stopping and supporting some of the veterans that live in the Caribbean. The Royal Canadian Legion helps support the veterans in the Commonwealth, Dominica, Barbados, St. Kitts, and other Caribbean islands. And for every cabin we sell on this cruise, we do a fundraiser and a donation to help support some of those veterans.
Following the ceremony, visiting members of the Royal Canadian Legion were treated to a tour of several of Dominica's scenic spots. They were also treated to a special lunch at the Fortune Hotel. Historian Dr. Lennox Honeychurch views the visit by the members of the Royal Canadian Legion as a significant link.
We have had long traditional links with Canada, and so to have a Canadian group come here, that is very significant indeed. And the links between the Dominican Legion and, in this case, the one from New Brunswick in Canada. So it serves as a link between us and many countries because we share that background. This is tourism, and they have all come down here as a group, and they are going to be going on tours and having lunch here. So you see how you can merge that link that's international with our tourism product.
The visit was coordinated by local destination company Decide on Dominica, a subsidiary of Millennium Ventures Incorporated. For National Focus, I am Tanya Green reporting.
Thank you, Tanya, for that report. In other news, the Roseau City Council has joined forces with the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation, the Roseau Market, the Dominica Police Force, and Discover Dominica Authority to embark on a joint campaign to keep the city of Roseau clean. In the press conference on Thursday, February 6, Mayor of the city of Roseau, Her Worship Irene John, touched on a number of areas of concerns and listed her intentions for the city. Among major issues of the concern to the committee are the improper disposal of refuse, disorganized vending, and the problem of vagrants roaming the streets of the city. Her Worship Irene pointed out that the council isn't the custodian of the city and should not be afraid to tackle these long-standing issues.
Roseau City Council is the custodian of Roseau. And anything that is happening illegal in the city, it involves us and it concerns us. And we have to have a listening ear, and we have to be, as policemen, policing the city.
Jello Jacob, Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Solid Waste Corporation, listed a number of activities planned to bring awareness and educate the public of the importance of taking responsibility for a cleaner environment.
We're going to have spot meetings in the city of Roseau where we'll have a PA system moving around the city, continuing the education process, a PA system, people will hear the announcements and the various concerns that we have. We'll be going to the schools. We have started going to the schools already, the various schools within the city of Roseau, the primary and secondary schools, to alert the students, and also have meeting with the Parents Teachers Association, the PTA, to let them know the importance of the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, recycling, and the importance of keeping Roseau clean, keeping the environment clean. We're looking to do joint patrol with the Roseau, with the police force, and Inspector or ASP, Assistant Superintendent Andrew mentioned that. We'll be doing joint patrol with the Environmental Health Departments, Solid Waste Monitoring Officers, and the police officers. We will be going around Roseau to ensure that we not just issue people tickets, but ensure that because of our presence, it will deter people wanting, or vendors or whoever, wanting to give paros or disposing of waste in areas which will become unsightly.
The committee will also place billboards at the bridges to the entrance and exit of the city, as well as place announcements of garbage collection days on the media. Another major issue of concern is the untimely disposal of garbage at what the Solid Waste Corporation calls hotspots.
We're also looking to do beautification of hotspots, and there are a number of hotspots in Roseau. You can just readily point to them. Just by Woodstone Shopping Mall, this junction there. We are by the trade union office, close to this area there in Lagon or Independence Street, and next to Domlec, this junction by Macmillan area. People are regularly placing garbage in those locations. So those hotspots, we're looking to beautify those hotspots, maybe get business places to adopt those hotspots, plant flowers and trees, and just try to re-beautify Roseau, replant trees, and the whole beautification effort in closing and curbing those hotspots.
ASP David Andrew highlighted the importance of the police service in that initiative.
We have our own laws that even speak to these various areas. We have under our Small Charges Act number Chapter 1039 and under Section 10 subsection 1, we have the offense of annoyance being addressed there. We have under section 13 subsection 1, we have the offenses of begging or anyone placing himself in any public place to beg or gather alms. That is an offense that affects tourism, and we have that under our laws. Section 33 subsection 1, section D, any person who lays or throws anything down to the inconvenience of residents, neighbors, or the public at large, they are committing an offense under Chapter 1039.
The committee has a budget of $17,000 to execute this campaign. Discover Dominica Authority is contributing $5,000 towards this effort. Kathleen Coffey of the DDA says this is an initiative which is fully supported, as a clean city will contribute to the overall visitor experience on the island. GIS will bring you more from this press conference in subsequent newscasts. PETRO is investing in the cultural aspect of Dominica's development through their sponsorship in this year's National Carnival Queen Pageant and other events scheduled for the season. At a Dominica Festivals Committee press conference on Wednesday, Sales and Marketing Manager Ian Pinard announced part sponsorship of 3 of the contestants: Joel Brown from Point Michel, Octavia Prosper representing Dalis and Laplin, and Royat Lura of Portsmouth.
We are sponsoring, or part sponsoring 3 young ladies in the National Queen Show. We are also part sponsoring 2 ladies in the Modest Queen Show. We are also taking part sponsoring the Miss Teenage Pageant. And we are also part sponsoring in the Mass Jamboree at the State College. So PETRO is all over making sure that Carnival is very successful this year. And as Val said, we are putting the dollars where our mouth is.
Pinard expressed his satisfaction in part sponsoring the National Queen Show for the first time and voiced his confidence in the selected 3 participants to surpass expectations.
I think it's the first time we are part sponsoring 3 young ladies in Miss Joelle Brown of Point Michel, Miss Royat Lura of Portsmouth, and Miss Octavia Prosper of Laplin Dalis' area. And I think all 3 ladies, for us, we consider all the 7 ladies to be queens already. We think all of them are winners, but we think the 3 that we are sponsored are going to take the title, and we think that PETRO is going to be very successful this year in the 2014 National Queen Show.
Human Resource Manager at PETRO, Dennis Charles, had the honor of presenting the young ladies with PETRO sponsored sashes. The Miss Dominica Carnival Queen Pageant is scheduled to take place on February 28, 2014 at the Carnival City. Pinard informed that PETRO will also be providing part sponsorship for 2 participants of the Mother's Queen Show, Vanessa Luisi and Ezra George, as well as Deandra Coffey for the National Teenage Pageant and Sherilyn Hill for the Dominica State College Mass Jamboree. According to Pinard, PETRO has already invested over $250,000 in carnival celebrations over the past 3 or 4 years. And that's the English segment of the news. We now join McPherson St. Luce for the Creole highlights.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, City Council Roseau a collaboré et puis diverses organisations et institutions pour mettre mise en place faire ville Roseau plus propre. Yo tient une conférence média jeudi, on a eu ban information comment yo ka aller adresser situation ça. Officier Relations Publiques Management Solid Waste, Jeno Jacob, c'est officier Relations Publiques Comité qui a adressé ça.
Autant partner avec Solid Waste, Environmental Health Department, Roseau City Council, Discover Dominica Authority, Roseau Market Authority, la police là, ça nous fait nous mener information par monde qui a servi ville Roseau, parce que ville Roseau sont une ville qui est importante pour nous. Et puis ville ça là quand on a réunion le monde qui a vendre produits à ce territoire Roseau, et puis autant monde aussi qui a paro, autant business en Roseau, et puis dans dio qui a paro pour disposer les autres bails. Et puis pour nous, ça même c'est un problème pour Solid Waste. Parce que là où on vend produits à ce territoire Roseau, pas qu'à servir la place là, c'est mon là qui a quitté, il a mettre les autres n'importe côté à ce côté chimie. Et puis il a la concerner d'autres monde pour mettre les autres en place là, et puis créer un hotspot. La solid waste truck la passé lundi, mercredi et puis samedi, la espace truck la passé Saint-Cher après-midi. L'autre jour nous avons zordis là et puis ça pas supposé faire parce que c'est moun ça qui a fait ça, qui a cautionné ça. C'est business là nous avons dit yo supposé venir à bord et puis solid waste parce que nous avons un programme pour faire certains qui yo tirer zordis, nous tirer zordis ba yo en temps tous les jours en semaine là parce que nous savons qu'il y a pas de place pour mettre zordis yo, il y a pas de place pour store zordis yo et puis ça important pour yo pour faire certains qui si yo va manger nous incident là autant c'est manger ça là qu'à descendre dalle là en drain là et puis nous pas vouloir what taper manger comme ça nous avons mettre service ça là en place pour ces business là pour nous tirer les ordres bayo en temps pour empêcher incident leptospirosis, à présent une chikungunya, ça d'autres maladies encore. Pour nous-mêmes, pour nous un bon roseau qui est net et puis en bonne santé, ce n'est pas seulement pour ces touristes-là qui viennent venir au roseau, à Dominique, mais premièrement pour nous, Dominicains, nous qui avons servi à ville roseau.
En la nouvelle, chef officier élection Stephen Larocque, qui a gardé devant où l'agence a sorti pour faciliter le process carte identité de ville roseau. Up to Siemens Salam, 2600 officiers publics déjà processés pour carte salam. Quand même Larocque a gardé devant pour mener tout un pays. Et des raisons pour carte identité salam, up to actuellement, c'est pour faciliter les gens voter en élection. Et aussi fait parole obligatoire moun obtenir ces cartes salam. Cartes salam qui aussi servi en tant qu'avenir pour d'autres bagailles. Le gouvernement Dominique déjà dépensé à peu près 2,4 millions de dollars pour implémentation de ces cartes salam. En la nouvelle, police can mettait certains règles en ville roseau pour garer voiture, faciliter carnaval ouvert samedi. Superintendent David Andrew, en nouvelle mercredi, mentionné yon d'ici l'occasion salam. Andrew aussi mentionné d'autres à l'occasion.
Ici, le Black Highway, dans la Rolls Lane qui a joint Chimère Goodwill. Le cas des personnes pour parquer à ces chimères, ça a commencé à 11h, à le 8. À Goodwill Road encore, là, il a joint Chimère Federation Drive. Jusqu'à arriver à ce bridge, à ce pont, ici le Black, nous avons dit, les gens qui ont servi voiture, pas parquer voiture à ce chemin ça. Pas là, nous avons dit, personne pas pour parquer là, qui a commencé à 11h matin à ce samedi, qui a venu. Aussi, à ce Old Street, là, il a joint pont ici le Black. Personne pas pour parquer voiture à ce chemin ça.
Et puis finalement, le département qui a une responsabilité pour les enfants qui abusent, département welfare, qui a à ses parents et gardiens pour tenir responsabilité welfare des enfants ailleurs tout le temps, et puis spécialement quand nous en saison carnaval. Parole celle-là, sorti au coordinateur du département celle-là, Gemma Azel Luce. Luce fait parole qui parle ni en responsabilité bien fondamentale pour welfare négio ailleurs. Et d'ici parents passent à une responsabilité pour les enfants ailleurs, les enfants qui affectés par abusement, ça contacte le département là, ou bien on moun yoni autant confiance en dedans. Le département là qui a sollicité support public là en info salam. Moun sa téléphoné 266 20 ou bien 266 3080. Numéro téléphone ça là encore, moun sa téléphoné 266 20 ou bien 266 3080. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Au revoir.
Thank you, McPherson. Tanya Green is up next with today's in-depth report.
Dominica's indigenous people reside on a 37,000-acre reserve in the east of the island. The Kalinagos, as they are usually referred to, are friendly people gifted in craft production skills and farming. One of the concerns over the years, however, was the poor housing conditions of its people.
From the time I raised up here in the reserve, We knew nothing about houses and so on. We had the hoopers covered with yatau leaves, not coconut, because coconut was not common.
Lawrence Daru, a former parliamentary representative for the Kalinago territory in the late 1970s, remembers well the words of the late Edward Oliver LeBlanc as he spoke with residents of the territory back then.
I can remember the words he told us, that when we the Caribs will vote for he or any member of his party to represent we the Caribs, that's the time the Caribs will start to develop little by little.
The words of the former premier has indeed borne fruit.
You've received more from the government in the last 10 years than all the years since you gained our independence put together.
The Roosevelt Skerritt administration has made significant progress in improving living conditions within the territory.
In the last 9 years, we have built in excess of 87 new homes for the Carib people. 87 new homes. I'm not even mentioning the number of homes that we have repaired and improved their roofs and put in washroom facilities and created more space so that the boys and girls could be in separate rooms in the Carib territory.
Improving housing conditions is a costly exercise, but with assistance from friendly governments, including Venezuela and the People's Republic of China, there is an increasing number of Kalinago people who are sleeping better at night. Kalinagos like Nizanda Lucien.
I live right by the river, but I couldn't sleep in night when you see rain falling. I couldn't have a resting sleep because I tread the river, making so noisy, river going so strong, and you have the slope upon me again. That doesn't make good, but here I am comfortable, I am happy all the days of my life.
Honorable Ashton Grano is the parliamentary representative for the Kalinago territory. He feels proud to be part of an administration that has made so much progress in addressing the housing needs of his constituents.
I know growing up as a little boy, I've never seen in my entire life and in the history of the Kalinago people an injection of massive funds into the improvement of the living conditions of the Kalinago people.
Significant amount of financial resources have been injected into the constituency to build new and repair existing houses. But the CARIB Territory MP knows that much more will be needed to fully address the housing concerns of his people.
Last financial year, we assisted exactly 20 people in the Kalinago territory to the tune of $100,000. So we hope we can treat now the balance by phases, because clearly we don't have the money to deal with everybody.
There are several success stories of the housing program in the territory. Residents of the Kalinago territory, like this gentleman, who is affectionately called Evic, was living in a dilapidated condition for years in this rundown one-bedroom home.
Now, clearly, we must address these people's needs.
Evic now lives in improved conditions, a direct impact of the housing program in that constituency. The developments have prompted the former representative to voice his support for the ruling party.
I will die as be a member of the Dominica League, because I will live to see what the Labour government has done and is doing and still has to do again for that constituency.
Efforts by the administration to improve living conditions has been described as a major feat for the DLP government and continues to deal a major blow to critics of the administration within the territory.
We hear opposition members and supporters in the Salibia constituency say nothing is happening in the Kalinago territory. This, I must say, is maliciously misleading, as we all have eyes to see the truth.
Coming up next, your tip of the day.
Together we build, together we strive. We see it all on your Government Information Service, Channel 7. This is the Government Information Service, bringing you all that you need to know about all that's happening in your country's development. GIS, you and your channel.
Jogging is terrific for your heart and lungs, and it improves your stamina. If you're trying to lose weight, it can burn calories more quickly than walking. On the negative side, running does put more stress on the joints, the knees, ankles, and hips. The key is to start slowly and ease your way into longer distances to avoid injury. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Mervin. Thank you for watching.